My guest for today is my professor from college at the UANP, Dr. Juan Mesquida. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm very glad that Mike invited me to be in his podcast. I feel honored and always willing to share whatever, aspect of my life and my ideas that can be of any interest to anyone.
Yeah, many discussions on history, your journey
That's right.
in teaching, updates with the university, and a lot about current issues,
Correct.
relevant events. So thank you for your time.
You're
hope
welcome,
you-
and yeah, hoping to see you again soon.
Yes, and I hope you take something from our conversation.
Yes, of course. I got a lot of ideas also. I've learned a lot.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Dr. Mesquida. It's good to see
afternoon,
you.
Mike.
Good to see you after so many years. I was
Mm.
under a few of your classes back in college, so it's good to see you. So first, I want to start off by asking, how are you? How have you been doing? What's new with the school and any future ventures that you're looking into?
Well, we just, I'm a member of the history department, no?
Yes.
UAMP, University of Asia and the Pacific. And we have a very active department. We just finished last week, exactly. We sent my colleague there, Dr. Camacho, Yvette Camacho, and a professor from the US. Her name is Nora Garala. And we just sent a manuscript for a book to be published by Palgrave on the history of the everyday life in the Philippines during the 1600s or 17th century.
Okay.
Through the eyes, the opinions of a Dominican who was asked questions about all sorts of things like marriage or loans or slavery or things, very interesting things. My chapter has to do of, loans and interest rates. Is it moral to charge so much?
Mm.
And then I found out, for instance, that the atendera can borrow atendera in Manila, which means actually at that time they call it bullera o tendera. It's the lady in the market who could borrow 10 pesos, which was very big at the time, and she could earn through a month 3 to maybe 3 to 4 pesos from the 10 pesos loan that she got. No? This is surprising because we are talking about 1600s, so not about now. Anyway, it's a group work of 12 historians. Some are from the US, from Mexico, from Spain, and the Philippines, several UST and other. So it's a great project. I also asked a friend of mine who's a very good art designer to paint a few figures that will be in the cover. It came out very nice, like ordinary people in the market, a little church background, the image of Our Lady of Gia there, which is part of one of the chapters. Anyway, so that's one of the projects. I am also working on another paper now to be presented in a conference in Iligan this October. It's the Philippine National Historical Society
Iligan
conference
in Mindanao. Yeah.
So I'm very excited to go there. So anyway, I think the university, we have a lot of developments. Like tomorrow I'll be attending it's a workshop on how to use Canvas. Are you familiar with Canvas? Canvas
Not
is a
much.
learning management system, which is an online whole package for teachers and students. And one of the features is about quizzes. So tomorrow we will find out how to use the analytics of how the students answer the quizzes. So what can you learn from the analytics? So I'm quite excited about it also. Many developments are happening. I mean, I could talk a lot, but at least The school
But
is
yeah.
full of activities. I'm also looking forward to another. It will be, I think, it's the 24. The Center for Social Responsibility is organizing for big companies um, sustainability conference where our head, which is Colin Hugo, is going to talk about how. I mean, what are now? It seems there are some international standards for sustainability for companies. So, what are those new developments? So, companies like, let's say, Meralco, or what could be other companies that are into energy? I mean, actually, all of them, the Ayala, I would say, or Aboitis, etc. All of many of those will be there. I'm very looking forward to it.
But generally speaking, how much has the school changed since I left? What are some of the major developments? Because I graduated in 2011, so that's about, yeah, 13 years.
Yes.
Yeah, 13
Well,
years.
I think a
I know
lot.
there's a new building, and I hear there are confessionals, but I
Mm.
haven't been back to the school.
No, I
But I
think
visited once in 2016. So generally, what are the new major developments?
Well, we have an. I mean, maybe I don't know. You didn't see the parking and sports building. Do you see?
I haven't really
No. So yeah, this is a
taken a
building that
close
we were
look.
able to finance, no? Which has 3 floors for parking, and then this fourth, fifth, and sixth floor are for sports. So we have like a huge, 2 basketball courts which we can play all wooden floor, and then we have facilities also for a gym plus an area for martial arts, and then we have an oval in the sixth floor
Over.
for running. So it's a great development. We have also improved a lot. I mean, in terms of facilities, that one plus also the library. Our library, you should come to visit me because it's the best library in the country, and I'm not on the university. University
So,
library.
much bigger now.
Much
More-
bigger, and not just bigger only, but it's very welcoming. So if you remember, most people used to be in the ledge before and in the multi-purpose hall. What used to be multi-purpose court. Now it's full of students in the library. Studying. Sometimes there are also a lot of little rooms for working together, group work. And we have a lot of new materials online, facilities there to use them online. We have a lot of subscriptions to the best journals in the world, also publishers. And even now, we have a very active librarian head, and you can even just borrow without help of anyone. Just get it. There is a machine there. You put it there, it records it, and then you can bring it up. And you can have to return it. It's okay. We also have a Center for Technology and Learning, which is, you should see it, is also state of the art, very nice facilities where I was telling you that we can do videos and podcasts. And it's in relation also connected to the Canvas, to this learning system, management learning system. So it's a lot of, actually you won't recognize it because there's so much use of the computer now, but don't forget, and I would like to stress this, we still prioritize the mind, thinking. Remember, our liberal arts is still always first and foremost. Thinking, writing, talking, and really those are the
Still
essential,
the
and listening, of course.
fundamentals.
Essential skills. So technology is not going to replace that. And I'm quite excited about AI. I must say that it's a very interesting field. I was amused the other day using it for something personal because AI. You were talking. It was about something related to spiritual life, and then the AI took a role as if it was me, invented something about spiritual life, which was very amusing. I found it very amusing. So it's okay. Let me also explain that we have new courses, which are also very important courses. We have a data science and data analytics courses.
What are some new courses?
Yeah, that one. The one of data analytics and data science. So one is depends on the school of technology, IT, but the other one depends on the school of management. And the new head is an expert in really how to use that for companies. So we are offering many. I mean, he's working for companies from the school. No, I mean representing the school. Also, another course we have is during your time there was already industrial engineering. Was it? Was there? You're not sure. You're not sure.
Not
no?
sure.
But now we have already increased it to also civil engineering. We started last year also with psychology, which is like pre-med. No? It's a little more on the science, not so much on the humanities. We also have what are other courses we have? I think, of course, law. Law is one of. I mean, we started with 7 students. Now we have 2 big sections. The rate of passing is pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, not perfect, but it's very high. So we are having many graduates which are lawyers. I think there are more courses, but at this point I don't.
How
recall.
many students now in total in the university?
We still keep it small. We want to really give good quality, so it's around a little over 2,000.
2,000.
Although we are open to increasing.
What about the students? How are they now in comparison to my time? Because you hear about generational changes, Gen Z's slightly different outlook and mindset towards life, given the fast-paced world we live in. So there are a few downsides with technology. You hear about people talk about a very easily triggered generation or lack of values or discipline. What's your take on that? Because you would be able to see and assess.
Yes, I'm a little skeptical in those generation sort of differences. Because I'm a historian, so I always look from the point of view of, I mean, how people react through time, no? So I think every generation thinks that the previous generation was like this, was like that. I don't know. I just think students are the same. Some are very good, hardworking, very motivated. Others are they just average, and the others are really just whatever, struggling. No, more than the Generation Z. What I think it had a bad effect at that time, but I think we are almost overcome it already. It's the pandemic, because people were at home. People were, I mean, you have no contact with others. So, and then the teaching online, it's not the same as physical presence. You get something, they learn something. However, I don't think there is anything that can really take the place of reality of persons, no? Person to person.
Yeah, face to face, no substitute to that.
And then, the buddiness, if you want to call it, being there, no?
Physically there.
Physically there. So many, I remember the first semesters when we had hybrid, some of them were sort of disconnected, but now, thank God, human nature is so amazing that it's almost gone. No? It's almost
But
gone.
presently, do you still do hybrid, like some days online?
I think if there is a need, I mean, like for instance, now during the typhoons, you are forced to do online work, because otherwise you will not advance. In my case, what I do is I give them meaningful assignments that they can do by themselves, and I give them feedback, and then we discuss it when we come back. So it's not just like you do everything there, and no, okay.
But in a way, it was helpful, right? The development of Zoom, all these, because of the pandemic, it paved the way for all these advancements to speed up in a way. So we're benefiting from it now.
For sure. I know there are many companies that do online meetings when it's not necessary. I mean, when you're supposed to discuss very specific things.
It's more efficient, actually, in some cases.
I still, if you ask me, I personally prefer to have really the people in the room.
Yeah.
Personally.
But at times when there's something urgent,
because you're in Cebu or New York or whatever, it's not realistic. No, we were a little lucky because we had started our canvas even like 3-4 years before the pandemic. So we had the system. We just had to do a little more training, and we were able to react very well to the pandemic. So our school did was not as affected as other schools, which had a really hard time. No? So we were very, very lucky because we were really looking forward to that. I remember even long before the pandemic, I was asking our expert, okay, can you give me some reading materials on precisely how to use technology, for teaching? So it was already in our mind, and it worked very well.
Presently, what subjects do you teach? Because I remember I was under a few of your
Yes.
classes, fine arts and Christian civilization.
Yeah.
Did you expound on other subjects
I
more on history?
No, I really teach history. What we used to call Christian civilization, now we call it contemporary world and Christianity, is essentially the same. But through my learnings, my getting better at teaching, I think I do a lot more connecting to the present. So to show how each lesson, in a way, has influenced the present or is relevant to the present. Let's say the first lesson is always the Greeks, ancient Greeks, because aside from many of their contributions to mankind, the most important, in my opinion, is philosophy. Because philosophy, it's human mind thinking and being aware of the thinking. So that in a way, and ideas move the world. Ideas move the world. So that's how we start. Then we go to the Romance, and the Romance is the state of law. So it's society, civilizations that are ruled by law, which is reason. So law is not just is how reason affects humanity in every field. Anyway, so all the lessons are like that. So I think the students find it very relevant. I also teach the humanities students some subjects on methodology and techniques for writing history. We call it, we have a subject which we call historiography, which is the history of history. So we go through historians, so how they reflected on what history is, how to do history, how to use the evidence, so look for the sources, and then how to, because history is so broad, you need to always focus on some aspects of history. So we take up history which has to do with politics or socioeconomic issues or anthropology or gender now or post-colonial history, which means the history of those nations that have been colonized. So many interesting approaches to history. I love it. And my students are asked to do a little family historical research, and they love it, and we learn a lot together. So that's one subject. Another subject is the historiography of Philippine history, which is on how the Philippines, Philippine historians and foreigners have looked at the history of the Philippines. It's not about the history itself, but how historians have approached the history of the Philippines, which is very interesting because it's a very exciting, very fascinating history the history as the writing. Of course, the real history is also fascinating, but the writing is also a lot of very good historians who have said many different things about the Philippines. Yep.
This is specific to the Philippines.
Yeah, this subject, yes.
This subject.
Is writing of Philippine history. I have many good friends. I am very lucky that I know a lot of historians, Filipino historians. We are friends.
Who's your favorite, or who's your top historian? Or
I wouldn't want to say who's my top, but there are some names that are. In terms of writing, I like a lot Nick Joaquin, although he's not a historian, but he's a very imaginative and creative, insightful person. He has very deep insights about everything. No? So I like him. I got a lot of ideas from him. In terms of those who have done a lot of legwork, you want to call it, to foster more history of the Philippines, I will mention Bernardita Churchill, because she is the one who organizes these yearly conferences. She organizes two, and this has been going on for almost 30 years. So the amount of history that has been produced because of her leadership, she really deserves a big tribute for doing so much.
Maybe we can delve a bit more into your background, how you started. what made you decide to get into teaching? And what was
Mm,
your course early on? What was the journey for you
all right.
in being a professor?
Yeah. Okay. First, I went. I'm from Spain. Okay. I was born in a small town because my parents had migrated to Madrid. I was the eldest. My parents wanted me to be born with my Lola, meaning my mother wanted to be with her mother in her first delivery. All my other siblings were born in Madrid. No? Anyway, my upbringing was in Madrid, a very nice high school, which I visited there last June, and it's a beautiful high school now in Madrid. It's called El Prado. Afterwards, I went to college. I had a little difficulty with math, I would say, in high school. So in a way, I was more inclined towards the humanities, and also my dad had a business of designing churches. So he was, I don't know if you have seen all these old churches, all these big like altar pieces where there are a lot of, wood all over, and then very artistic, Baroque, Renaissance, Gothic, etc. decorations. So he designed that. So in my house, our house was also full of artworks. He loved to decorate the house. So in the walls there were paintings or little statues or all sorts of decoration, tapestries. So I was quite inclined to the arts, but in the end I decided to go to history because I love history. I had a very good high school teacher. I was just with my classmates last June, no, in Madrid. After I haven't seen them for 50 years, so I saw them after 50 years. Imagine, well, it was a very memorable occasion, and we were recounting how we had two teachers who left a deep mark on all the students. One was a priest, but he was teaching literature, and he taught us how to read books, meaning that we would read together and he would underline what was important. So it was really a very big effect on our minds on what is important, what is not important. And I had another teacher, which was the history teacher, who taught us how to do diagrams of lessons, but based on what is most important and what is less important, how is it connected. So those two teachers, yeah, I had a deep impact. Of course, all the teachers were good and they taught me how to write, etc. I think, no, but anyway, so I was quite inclined to history. I got good grades in high school, and I found it. I had a future, so I decided to go to history. I started in Madrid, which is where I came from. Then I moved to another little towns for some reasons, some personal reasons. Not towns, but cities in the north, which gave me a good exposure to other provinces. By the way, I don't know if exactly if it's part of, but I would like to joke a little because I am a very lucky person. Okay, why? Because I was born in Mallorca. My grandparents and all their children live in Mallorca, except my parents. And I lived my bringing up was in Madrid. So in Madrid there is a saying, which is de Madrid al cielo. I don't think you understand, no? But it means from Madrid to heaven, because Madrid is a very livable place. It's a very nice place.
I've been there once. Very
Yeah.
good food.
Yeah,
I
and
love
it's also
Spanish
very
food.
walkable, and the weather is good. In the January, February, it's very sunny, cold but sunny, and then the background blue skies, and then you have snow-capped mountains. It's a very, very nice place. And then during summer, I would always go to Mallorca, where my parents come, which is an island in the Mediterranean, which is very beautiful. And it's one of the touristic spots of Spain, Mallorca. And just a few years ago, Cathay Pacific started flying to Spain. So they came out with a in-flight magazine issue all about Spain. And one of the articles was entitled, Heaven is Attainable. I've been there. And then it was about Mallorca. I mean, it's an exaggeration, but Mallorca, I mean, in a way, I'm very lucky that I was from Mallorca. But, when I went to study in a little city called Leon, another a little further north called Oviedo, my eyes also opened a little about Spain. It's like the Philippines. In the Philippines, you are always in Madrid, in Manila, or you are always in Cebu, you don't have really the perspective, especially Manila. Cebu a little less, no? But Manila is so different from the rest of the country, no?
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah. So after that, after college, I went work for my dad for a year, but he was not really a very good trainer. So I decided, and then it's when they offered the opportunity to come to the Philippines to work in a NGO, no, which was in charge of. I mean, it's like residence halls. It's like a dorm for students, and I was assigned. I mean, I took a job in a place called, near in Quezon City, where the students that came to live in the dorm were from the top 4 universities. So it was a very.
When was this? What year did you?
I'm talking about
move?
82.
82.
82.
Okay.
So I was here. I came. I arrived 82, and I was working in the NGO until 92. And in 91,
What exactly did you do for the NGO?
well, in the NGO, we had like informal classes and mentoring. And also we had many, all kind of activities, intellectual and physical activities. We had sports regularly. We had invited people we invited people like Don Jaime Augusto Zobel de Ayala, no? We invited people like Francisco Bañosa, Bobby Bañosa, no? Big names, no? Architects, which would share with the people there their insights about life, no? And remember, one of Don Jaime was very good because about why do men call this grow flowers or something like that. It was very. I mean, he's a very fascinating speaker, very interesting. So it was great. Of course, were great years, but I don't know if it's the right moment to tell you, but those were very difficult years for the Philippines. 83,
inflation time, right? That was
this is when
towards the end of the
Aquino
Marcos
was assassinated, or was
83.
83,
Right? Yeah.
and then the country just collapsed financially, no? So the inflation was like 50%. I mean, 50% is not just a joke. So it were difficult years. In my case, since I was so from a different world, I must say that I didn't know what to expect, no? In this. So it didn't look so different. I mean, it didn't look so bad. But later on, when things started to improve, that's when I started to look back and say, wow, this is strange years. I was just living, my first years in the Philippines were really strange. I mean, they were not normal years. No?
Did it take some time for you to adjust in the Philippines when you came
I
here?
do, of course. I mean, for sure, the weather. At that time, there was not so much aircon like we have now, no? So
What about
weather.
in terms of the culture? What was your impression of Filipinos?
Well, something that
The
amused me a lot.
way of life?
Something that amused me a lot was, of course, Filipinos like to laugh a lot. You know? They laugh. They like. And at first, if you come from abroad, you think that they are laughing at you, but they are not. They are not. But it's like, why are they laughing so much? But anyway, eventually, quite fast, I realized that no, it's not me. They are not. They don't mind me at all. It's just they are love to laugh. No? So that was something a little unique. No?
Unique for you.
And of course, kindness, hospitality, for sure. No. So
The food. Did you like the food?
the
right
food at
away?
that time was pretty basic because those were difficult years, and I mean, you are with students, so we did not have like very fancy food. No?
Yeah. The adobo and stuff. The basic sinigang.
It took a while. It took a while to get used to it. No? And now I love it. I have to say that when I was saying I was in Spain in June, and I was already missing the Filipino food. It might be surprising. You say, "Oh, you're in Spain. It's good food." Yeah, but I don't know. It's what I like. You know, the famous calabasa with kangkong, or the local salad, or as you said, the adobo, or the sinigang, or
Did you
whatever. No?
eventually learn Tagalog? Because I've never heard you speak
No,
Tagalog.
hindi masyado. I'm not very good in Tagalog.
Ever since I've known you, I never heard you speak.
Since I was teaching in English, and
So it's been English
mostly
throughout.
English. I can speak a little Tagalog. I mean, in the streets when I need it, no. Yeah, I am more of an English thinker, I guess. No? And yeah, those were difficult years where we had to eat a lot of banana instead of, and you know, as a
Hard
historian
times.
also, I, you know, those years the Philippines was still very much developing. How many malls did we have at the time? 82, 83, you know?
Very few. I think
I
SM was just starting out,
Yeah,
right?
we had COD in Cubao, which now is very little, and then the SM Cubao and SM Makati.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
it.
very. I mean, the little shop of SM is there in no in near Quiapo, no, but that's it. So I mean, I think I know. Of course, don't forget Rustans. Rustans was the place for the rich, but even the brands
Yeah,
there,
the
they
Tantocos.
were nothing very special, like Christian Dior, Ralph Lauren. I mean,
Fewer options.
now it's a different, and also I was a little, maybe something that, I mean, on hindsight, I mean, make me, I don't know, feel a little, I don't know, I sensed it without being aware of it, is that Spain is very fashionable.
Mhm.
I mean, Madrid, especially Madrid. I mean, since high school, my classmates, all of us, I mean, like to wear nice clothes, colorful. You know, when I came, I had green pants. Green pants in the 80s was like, nobody wears green pants in the Philippines.
So you stood out when
A
people saw
little,
you.
a little. I mean, I don't bring it everywhere, no. But I mean, what I mean is green, not green. I mean, nice green, no. Like this, like call this the. I mean, the fatigue. I mean, this is something elegant. It's not ugly, no.
Mm.
But in the most of the in the malls, you will find very dull kind of clothing, no. So anyway,
Very
now
basic clothing, very
yeah, and
bare,
even the colors were not so. I mean,
bright,
not so bright, etc. No, I mean nowadays it's a whole new. I mean,
so much
even
variety now.
and it's. I mean, even the school, our school, and other schools, and you go to the malls. It's like runways, diba? Meaning that everybody's so many people are so elegant already with so much taste, and I know it's a transformation. It's a transformation. Anyway, so we were going back. Yeah, so in '91, I met Professor Giorgio Mariano, no? Dr. Mariano, which was a president for many years in the university, and he suggested, why don't you start teaching? Because the college just started in '89, 2 years earlier. He said, we need professors, can you teach? And that's when I started teaching fine arts. And then we needed history.
So you started with fine arts.
Yes, fine arts was the first one, and then but history. Whenever there was a need, I would always take. No, but I started also in the '90s. A few years later, mid '90s, I started my PhD in UAP in UST in history, Philippine history, essentially Philippine history.
So you've covered all world history, Philippine history.
No, world history was more in Spain, but in the Philippines was mostly Philippine history. So all the courses were about Philippine history. It was about like archaeology, historical archaeology in the Philippines. We also have the ethnic groups history. We also had the different centuries of the Spanish period, 16th century, 17th century, etc. We also had the American period. We had, even post-independence history. We out of many exciting. I had a great teacher for many of them, and I don't feel bad about that. He was my teacher in many subjects because he was. I mean, I adore the guy. In case that he was a fantastic teacher. His name is Florentino Hornedo. He was a great speaker, great storyteller, and great intelligence to put together to bring down to earth very I would say highfalutin concepts and ideas from the social sciences. Wow, amazing philosophy or sociology, anthropology. He was a great teacher. I love the guy. He died a few years ago, but yeah, he was my thesis advisor also, and he was very good always in the way he approached things. It was transformative because in Spain the professors are just readers, meaning they just read during the classroom. At least before, I don't know now. During they was reading, and you just take notes and notes and notes and notes, and that's it. You can ask a question or two, but that's it. No, here no. The teachers are really, they tell you stories. They're entertaining. I mean, a good entertaining while being educational. No,
Yeah.
so very
Better
good.
absorption also
Yeah,
for
much better. And you
'cause
also ask the
it's
students to prepare things, not to present things, and then they comment on you, what you have done, etc. No?
Mhm.
Very good. That was a great transformation. So yeah, 91 started to teach, and then finished my doctorate in 2005. And then is when I saw that I should just, since my doctorate is on history, less content, and I have a big advantage, which is I can read the Spanish documents of the
Mhm.
Philippine history. So I can do so much. So I started doing that, and I've been doing a lot of research, mostly related to my dissertation topic, which was NGO during the Spanish period, devoted to charity. But it's like the American universities that survive a lot with endowments. So this NGO used a lot of endowments, which were many of them related to the galleon trade. So I mean, donors would give money to be invested, to be lent to investors or traders in the galleon trade. So yeah, my topic is it's very
Mhm.
relevant, I think, because it's happening as well now.
Yeah. Did you ever try other jobs or other industries? Did you get into
No, no,
a
no,
9 to 5 type or a business?
no. Thank God, no need.
No?
Thank God,
Okay.
no
So
need.
this has been your focus
Yeah, it's
ever
been
since your
always yes,
a
yes,
lifelong passion, career.
definitely. Yeah, and I mean, I don't see the need. I mean, it has provided
Yeah.
my living, and I've met super interesting people like you and many other students, and other teachers brought me to. I also have friends in Canada. I have friends in Italy. I have friends in in Peru, and I mean I have friends historians in many places. So I don't think there was a need to complicate my life.
Yeah. What about in terms of your personal life? Because I've always known you as the professor. Did
Mhm.
you ever get married or have
No, I mean part of
have
my
a partner or have children?
no, my
'Cause-
NGO is that it's a Catholic NGO. I mean, Catholic inspired, no? Which in a way is behind like our university, which is Opus Dei.
yes.
So I came because in a way my connection to Opus Dei. So my life has always been related to how to spread the message of Opus Dei. I mean, aside from the school, I
Mhm.
mean, in a personal capacity, no. So conducting seminars or retreats or I mean out of town or some courses, no, about how to be a good Catholic, no, which is what Opus Dei is all about, no.
You've
So
always been Catholic
yes, yes.
ever
Always been
since.
Catholic. Ever since born Catholic and lived as a Catholic. And my involvement in Opus Dei is quite serious. That's why I'm not married. No, I'm not married.
Oh,
I
okay.
love girls. I like women, but I mean, it's something that, well, he gave up. I gave up for a good reason. No?
Oh, okay,
So,
that I didn't realize. So we
yeah, yeah,
didn't get to
yeah.
discuss that in the past.
Correct. So that's part of my life. I'm happy. I mean, I cannot complain. I mean, I think if I didn't have this involvement, I would have been married for sure, and I would
Mhm.
have children if God wanted, no, to have children. I have very good parents. My parents gave me. I don't know, when you have good parents, you really feel so blessed, no, because good example, good values, good character, no. So yeah,
How
I think.
often do you travel now? Do you go back to Europe
Um,
occasionally or about around the
yes,
Philippines? Because I know you went to Cebu. We were
actually,
supposed to meet.
yeah,
Didn't happen.
I do love traveling. Like this year in February, I was in Cebu, isn't it, for a family congress, which came out very well. It was a wonderful family congress with many participants from abroad. I was very interested because, especially, I want to know what's the latest about family values now. Like there were like two talks about AI, and about the actually more than two about how technology affects education. And I was also, where did I go? I went to several places. I went to Spain in June to visit my mother, who is 88. And I went also to Vietnam. I was in Vietnam in July for a seminar, just like vacation, like a
Mm.
vacation. And I just came from Baguio. I was in Baguio last 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
and I was in Tagaytay last week as well. I like climbing now. It's a new. I mean,
So
it's not new, but it's a resume hobby. So I have a group of friends that we go back climbing like once a month. So like we were in early August, we went to Cabanatuan. We
Cabanatuan.
went
It's quite
to
far.
Nueva Ecija. Yeah,
I
it's
think that's
overnight.
a 5-hour drive or so.
Yeah, like that. Yes. So we had a nice climb to a mountain called 387. It was very doable,
Okay.
although the way down was. So I was in Spain like December 2022. 2023, I traveled a lot. I went to Davao, Iloilo, mostly NGO work related. And then I had the chance to meet with the alumni. So we have
A
very
lot
nice.
of alumni
We have a lot of alumni everywhere.
through the years.
Yeah.
that you've-
Imagine more than
students you've taught.
more than 2,000. Plus others who are not my students, but they know me. So it's
Okay.
I love and the stories of alumni are very. I mean, yeah,
Interesting, very diverse,
very diverse,
very different career paths,
yeah,
different stories.
and very good stories. Yes, I would say. I'm very proud that our university has done a good job.
So
Very
you
good job.
usually travel alone
Mm.
or with a group? Right.
Sometimes with a group, sometimes alone. It depends. It's,
What's your general outlook or philosophy in life? Like what's your take on the meaning and purpose of your life?
I think if you are a committed Catholic, your meaning is pretty easy. I mean, it's more or less. I mean, just God is good. No, He gives you. I mean, Jesus came. He gives you through the church all the means you have to be a good person, and then, I mean, eventually you will die and you will go to heaven. Hopefully, no. So
Can you grasp the afterlife?
Well,
Or what do you
okay,
think really
I-
happens after death? Is there that day of judgment? Can you
Yes, but I
picture
think
it?
I think if you are a good person, and I mean, if you are, of course, if you are a good person and you try to be a good Catholic at the same time, but it's not necessarily to be a good Catholic to be a good person, no? Or to even go to heaven. No? It helps for sure. I think if you are really taking seriously your faith, I think God will be a very nice God. I don't think He's, and yeah, so as long as we are sorry for our whatever bad things we've done, which all of us have done bad things.
Repentance.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, and knowing that God is a forgiving God, so I think He will forgive us. No? I really find very difficult to believe in atheism because for me, something very strong argument is how can all this love that I have felt and given can be extinguished into nothing.
Nothingness.
Nothing. No? I mean,
There's too much meaning in life and complexities.
it's like the love for my mother, for my siblings, for my friends. They just disappear. I mean, is this? I mean, I don't know. That for me is, I would say, an emotional argument, but I find it, aside from the intellectual one, in a way, the idea of that we are. I mean, there has to be a beginning. I don't think
there has to be a creator, a
creator.
prime mover,
Yeah,
a first cause.
but it's really complicated, isn't it? Because
yes,
of course, the first cause, but still, how come the first cause of the first cause is complicated? So
yeah.
I don't think
But there's a source for all of these developments. We see intelligent life, the complexities around us, objective truth. That's something that's really inevitable in our lives. We're able to grasp certain things, and it's really distinguished as truth.
Well, truth is a little complicated, but anyway, in the sense that no. Yes and no. I believe in truth. However, aside from very important truths, we can really look at things from very different perspectives. So it can be complicated. But I don't doubt that there has to be a God, at least in my opinion. I mean, my beliefs rather, no? I also believe that there is truth.
Yes.
But the truth is, when you go to specifics, then it becomes complicated.
Mm.
No, I mean, like you say, virtues. Okay, of course, it's more virtues to live this virtue. I mean, this to be like strong or to be weak or whatever. I don't know. But the application can be very complicated. No, I think again another truth will be that I have to believe that Jesus is God, that He came to earth, that He lived, that He died, He rose, etc. I mean,
Yeah, that's
for Catholics at least that's our belief. No, that's truth. No, for sure. No? So.
yeah. Well, me, I don't doubt there's a God or a
Mm.
prime creator. As to the personal aspect, that's what I wrestle with, the personal God. But of
Oh,
course, intelligent life, grasping all these things around us, there has to be something more. It's not just absurdities and nothingness. What gives life meaning? I think that's the source. What the things you talked about, love. I think that's from God, and I think ultimately God is love. God is truth. Ultimately, but of
no
course, that's
doubt,
something we wrestle with.
no doubt about it. I must say that I'm a little lucky because I feel I would say God's presence in my life. I mean, not all the time, but it just happens in different occasions.
It manifests
It
itself.
manifests with some inspirations inside, some yes, enlightenment about things. So I mean, I think I'm lucky. I mean, I cannot speak for others, but for sure, for me, I think I'm very lucky about it. I'm grateful. Just when I was in Vietnam, for instance, I was moved. No, when I was inside the church, the cathedral, it just like I felt like crying like that. You know, it's a special
Emotional
moment. Well, and lights, not just that, but lights also.
lights.
Some personal lights, which I would not like to reveal, but about my life. But yes, and at times it even happens with podcasts. You listen to a podcast and some fellow says or fella says something, and wow,
Yeah,
I get
sometimes it
I get
strikes
touched.
a strikes a chord.
Accord, yeah, definitely it does. So,
Okay.
yep.
Do you foresee yourself teaching more, or
Yes,
any plans of
yes.
retiring soon? No,
I'm officially retired. Let's say. I mean, officially
but still
because I'm
active.
65. But
You still
I'm
keep
asking,
active.
and I think they have agreed to continue giving me some load, at least teaching load to because you need. If you want to do research, you need to have an affiliation. You cannot just be. I mean, it's hard to be a freelancer, no? So at least you are representing the UAP, University of Asia Pacific. It gives you like a professional, I would say, personality, you know. So I'm there. I also want to spend more time with alumni. So there's try to bring more alumni to the university and hopefully get a little involved also in how the alumni and the school can cooperate because it's not just a matter of asking donations, but what can the school offer that may be of interest to the alumni and vice versa. No, vice versa. We have a very nice program called Continuous Real Life Education called CORE, which offers many different courses to people who are not in the university, which could be courses about marketing or management or arts or data analytics or economics. So, I mean, I would like more people to be aware of those courses because they can benefit so much from it and they can learn a lot. No? So I think that I'm trying to explore how to bring more Spaniards to the Philippines for vacation. Because I think there is so much to offer. However, our tourism is not easy, so you need to have logistics to be able to enjoy tourism in the Philippines. You need somebody to pick you up in the airport,
Yeah, all
somebody
of
to
that
bring you to a hotel,
needs
then
to be planned
and
out
then
properly.
plan and supported. And it's not so easy to do it unless you have somebody here who does it for you, no? But yeah, and usually you stay a few days in Manila at most, 2 days or like that, and then immediately fly somewhere else. No? I mean, Palawan or Bohol or wherever, no, Cebu. Yeah, I'm trying to explore how to do that also.
Mhm.
Since I travel a lot, I also have a little outreach that I've been doing before the pandemic, during Holy Week, asking some friends of mine, young ones, different people through the years, to do a little outreach to help some little chapels in barrios, to maybe paint or change the roof. So I've been in many provinces. I've been in Palawan. I've been in Surigao. I've been in many places of Bicol. I've
So
been
you're
in,
also involved in some social
yes, that's
community
really social.
service activities
Yes,
to help
real
out
outreach.
the less fortunate.
Yes, that's a passion.
Of
It happened.
course, social responsibility.
It was initiated by Yolanda. After Yolanda, that's when it really. I said, I have to do something. What can I do to help those, precisely as you said, those less fortunate? And well, through friends, they tell me, okay, we need help here. Okay, so we go there. No? But in the process, you get in touch with very interesting people, very full of humanity people from all sorts of conditions and different places. I must say that uh, if you want to know the Philippines, you have to get out of Manila and go to the provinces. As I said, I've been from Apari to Zamboanga, passing through so many places, and yeah, it's a wonderful country.
What is your take on the present times we live in? Our economy, all the booming we're experiencing, all the developments. You mentioned AI. Do you worry about like the downsides of AI? Because it could be tricky
Yeah.
when it could be misused or it could be abused. So, what's your take on all these developments? Of course, it's a double-edged sword with the rise of technology. There are good advancements that benefit humanity, but there are also areas when, if we don't draw certain boundaries or lines, things could get out of hand. Yeah.
I'm a perennial optimist. I I've seen the dangers of being too prudent, in a way, like being afraid of developments. So I think, as a historian, I also see that most of the revolutions are not because people are suffering, but because people are enjoying too much and they want more. Like the French Revolution. It was not a revolution because people were starving. That's just the reality is that there were a huge middle class which was looking for better benefits, and rights. So they were the ones who staged it. The same with Americans. Americans in the U.S. When they were British, they separated from the British because they were doing so well. Why do we need the British? We don't need the British for anything. So, maybe the only exception is communism. No? Communist revolution orchestrated by a minority that changed things. No? So we always, you see the developed nations that are always complaining about things, isn't it? Like the environment. They have to, but I'm saying it's because they have so much good already. It's the problems of the rich countries. But I know I love all of them and I support all of them. ESG, isn't it? Environment, sustainability, and governance. That's it. We have to do it. This DEI, so diversity, equity, and what is the other one? It has to do really with bringing people, inside. Less fortunate. Because as a historian, you also really realize that some nations have profited from others. Not in many different ways. But it's the time for the rich nations to really help the other not so rich nations, and it's happening. It's happening because there are a lot of subsidies and a lot of things. It's just how to reach a balance. But I love all those things, and I think we should. As I was telling you, our school has been doing sustainability studies for 20 years. We are pioneers in the country. With our corporate social responsibility is amazing. So, on governance, we have, of course, our former president, Dr. Stanislao, has an institute about governance. Actually, he has two institutes. One is for private and other corporations, and the other one is for government. How to improve governance in different government agencies, no? And he's doing an amazing job for many years. So I love those things. We all have to be concerned. If you are not concerned with climate change, you are not human. Sorry to say. I mean, we have to worry about it. Not worry, but do something.
So you see climate change as a major threat that
I
that needs to
I
be
don't
addressed.
believe in threats, but I believe in improvements. I think we have to. I mean, if we can avoid pollution, let's avoid it. If we can get better, cleaner energy, let's do it. See? It's not
Of
that
course.
I'm not so afraid. It doesn't mean that we have to drop all the things and then just no, because the transition is going to take quite a bit. I mean, let's be, isn't it? Honest. I mean, it's impossible to change. No, from remove the fossil or call this the fossil energy.
Fossil fuel, oil, all of
Yeah,
that.
remove it and start as if everything's clean energy. No, not possible. No? And there are also many problems with the clean energy because, like the batteries, and even all these turbines of wind thing are very problematic. Many things. No, it's not an easy path. But whatever we can do it, let's do it. I'm a nature lover. I go bird watching regularly to the mountains, to the forests, wherever. No, I like also snorkeling. Like last year in 23, I went to very beautiful places in the north of Mindanao, in Cebu. I saw amazing new species of fishes for me, corals, anemones. I mean, I enjoy it so much. So I think we have to take care of that. No? So that's everybody's concerned. Everybody's concerned, and let's all do it. No? Do it. I would be blind if I am not also concerned with peace. I mean, because we have two big. I mean, there are just many, but the main two big problems we have is in the Middle East, no, between Palestine and Israel, and then of course Ukraine. No, I mean, there are many others. Because many nations have. I mean, a lot of. I would say China, India, isn't it? Even within India itself, there are a lot of problems between the Muslims and the Hindus. So, but yeah, we have to. I don't believe in war. I don't believe in violence. War never leads anywhere. No, I mean if you have to defend yourself for sure, but war is not a solution for anything. So,
but at times, human nature, the evils of humanity, sometimes they kick in.
Always.
So there's sometimes a different agenda, and sometimes they can guise it. Oh, we're for this cause, but there's some people in power behind the scenes who are actually out to profit, out for some personal gain, but it's guised as some altruistic thing. So, given you're a historian, what's your take in addressing some of these issues that have been repetitive? Because as we say, history repeats itself, right? Like similar problems are happening now. That's been talked about centuries ago or decades ago. It's still a repeat. But somehow things are getting worse in some instances, like with with people, like with the gender issue, with all this racist issue. What is your take on addressing some of these more complex issues that are really making the world more chaotic now? If you look at the news, right, it's just a lot of angry people here and there, very opposing sides of the political spectrum, and there's just too much noise happening and division happening.
Yes. Well, I tend not to. I really dislike generalizing. I mean, looking at issues as a whole. As a whole, it sounds. I mean, it sounds interesting. A good matter for debate or arguments, but I prefer to always look at things in terms of persons. I mean, specifically persons, because persons make decisions. So let's say, of course, the famous war of Ukraine. So if Putin had not taken the initiative, there would be no war. No, of course, you could also say, "Oh, he was reacting to Zelensky wanting to join the NATO." Oh, yes, of course, but I mean, these are people. No, they're people. The same with gender issues. I love everyone. I mean, whatever gender they want to have. That's
But
it.
sometimes there are a group that really insist, like there are two genders, right? But some really insist that, oh, the trans, all this LGBT
Again,
clamor.
I don't want to generalize because it's very dangerous. I have many friends who
And
are
there are dangers that it could deviate from, the objective truth I was talking about. Like a man
yeah.
can now claim that they're a woman and they can really stick with it, but biologically they are a man.
Okay, but again, sorry to insist,
Yeah.
but still, that's a person. Let's put it this way:
Yeah.
he or she is a person, and then that person goes through problems, and then the worst thing you can do is just to sort of cancel the person, say you no, okay, let's talk, and then and then in the end, I believe in reason.
Yeah.
So a trans will always know that he's a trans.
Yeah.
That's it. And he knows the chromosomes that she has or he has, and that's it. That's objective. But I don't want to force that person because I don't know what her life has been or
Yeah,
his
yeah.
life has been. So I prefer to in a way accept without saying
Without judgment.
no, without judgment and without saying it's good or something like that. No,
Yeah.
that's what the person wants. Okay.
Because I think we need
And
to.
then, many of these persons in the end have changed their mind about things. So
Yeah.
I always prefer, okay, let's focus on persons. As I tell, I have many friends who are gay friends, lesbian friends, trans, whatever. They are my friends. That's it. Period. No,
Because I
I'm
think
not
we
going
need
to-
to
but-
also
but-
draw the line at a certain point because
No,
things could get really far fetched.
No, I really, as I said, I am a perennial optimist. I think truth is always truth. Most people who have gone through that, we all have our histories, our own histories, our own stories. Some stories can be very complicated or amazing or whatever. I just don't want to. I don't want to make statements about people. No, of course, I don't think science says that
Yeah,
there are
because-
two genders, etc. No, I don't doubt about that. But at the same time, at the personal level, I'm always willing to listen and to learn. So that's what I
Because I
want.
think there are two aspects. There's the rational side, emotional side, of course, objective versus subjective. And sometimes, because of feelings, people tend to get so emotional that they insist on a narrative, but it really deviates from what is true.
Mm,
So, like if I say, oh, this shirt, my pants is color black, I cannot ever say this is color white because it's objectively, it is black. So just because I'm feeling
mm.
correct that, oh, this is white for me, doesn't mean everyone has to understand and adjust that, oh, yeah, we understand it's not really black. So there are tricky areas that
Well,
Can-
I would really recommend that you become friend of those people because you might be surprised about.
no question about having discourse, dialogue, or being friends with them.
No,
It's just sometimes it could get overboard and there has to be some order, some boundaries where this is how reality is and this is feelings. We have to set things straight, and I think that's why, of course, we have rules, we have a system, we have ways of doing things. Otherwise, it would be mayhem or chaos when people just insist, oh, this is what I want, this is what I want. So I think there are dangers to that.
I'm a little afraid of your the way of
I think that's the
how call this of addressing the issues. I don't have any doubts about objectivity of things, etc.
Yes, objectivity.
Especially based on certain, like science. Okay, this is, biological. You are a male. That's it. But
yes.
it's not impossible that a male may feel like he wants to be a female. I'm not saying that he's good,
of course,
but in a way that he feels like a female, he enjoys being a female, etc. What are you going to say? No, you cannot do that. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I have no problems with having gay, homosexual people coming out. But insisting on certain things, like have on things that go overboard, that's a bit tricky for
Yeah,
me.
for sure. I mean,
Because we can understand, of course, they are gay, they have a different orientation, but there are some areas that seem
I think that's for everything in life.
come out more entitled, especially with the generation now. That some, not all, some certain groups have this loud voice, and it's creating a shift, and it's deviating from previous generation, like maybe my parents' time, or maybe
My time,
your
because I'm
time,
sure I'm like your parents' generation. I'm
like
sure.
simpler times when we're taught certain values, we're taught certain habits, of course, hard work, discipline, going through hard times to make you stronger. I think that's a bit lacking lately, because it's somewhat, it's like it's a softer approach, or there's been some sort of shift on some areas. So I think
Yeah.
that there are dangers that we need to instill certain foundations that they have to be intact. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just prefer to talk in concrete. No, I mean there are definitely some cases like people have specific agendas to push something that looks really unfair. No,
Yes.
just because of this, they pushing this agenda. I think I would agree with you that that shouldn't be the case. No? But again, let's meet, let's talk, let's find
Yeah.
out exactly what they want and how they do it, and then also give them our side, as you said. I mean, we have to tell them. I mean, I don't think it's they might argue, but for sure, it's much better that if children are brought up by father and mother, no, that two
Yeah,
fathers
yeah.
or two mothers. I mean, I don't think science is needed, but anyway, I mean, it's not impossible to have two fathers and be brought up, no, well, no? But I mean, I think nature will tell you that having a father and mother is just simply the way
Yeah.
it should be, no, the simpler way or the more straight way to do things, no.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there are many, and as you said, there are also people who are scammers. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
They're real
There are a lot
scammers,
of
real scammers, and they can really try to fool you and get whatever your
yeah,
money
a
or,
lot
or,
of
or your
characters
ideas. No?
out there with
So
some evil
when
agenda,
one has to
or
just be
misplaced agenda.
very careful, and knowing people. I think you have to know people. No? You have
Yeah.
to know people. Don't trust anyone if you don't know them.
Yeah.
No,
But
know them
certainly,
well.
I think discourse is very important. Having that discussion objectively without things escalating, turning into some emotional, heated argument that becomes very personal. Then that's when it gets very destructive and counterproductive in terms of progress, growth, development. Because I think humanity, or our life, it boils down to that: communication, understanding, service, and how we flourish as a species, as a society, that we're able to level up and advance and come together also peacefully. I think generally that's what's ideal. But
It's
I look around and I see so much destruction. Well, of course, given many personalities out there, many people with different viewpoints. So, of course, there's no stopping the friction. But ideally, of course, peace and progress should be top, or should be what comes first, or is what's ideal.
correct.
Okay. Yeah, so you still see yourself teaching for years. You're still vibrant, energetic,
Too much.
passionate.
Too much. Actually, yesterday is Monday, isn't it? So after a week when most students have not been to school, most of them were kind of long face,
Long face.
sleepy, no? So, but I was full of energy. I cannot help it. Even if I don't sleep too well, which is normal to me, but the energy is still there.
What do you do in your free time when you're not busy preparing for lesson plans or the courses?
I meet people,
How
and
do
then
you
I do swimming sometimes. I do also biking on Sundays afternoons. Usually, I try to go with some of the students because there's a residence a dorm next to school. I know some of the guys, so we go together. We just bike to Manila or
You bike
Marikina.
also.
Bike, yeah.
You
I
do
bike.
bike.
I have a mountain bike, and then hiking. I love hiking. I like bird watching. I was telling you. So some weekends, I love to bird watch. We just go to Infanta Road, or we just go to Candaba. We just go to Balanga in Kabataan, etc. Or
What
Subic.
about sports? You do any running?
Essentially, biking, swimming, and then hiking now.
Hiking.
And then I try to also, since the building where I live now has 9 floors, so I can also go staircase, just go up and down staircase. So it's a good exercise. But now I have problem with my hip, so I have to see doctors first before I do too much exercise. But yeah, swimming and biking.
What
and
about gym? Some weights, no?
I
Dumbbells.
don't want to be
here
big
and there.
anymore. I mean, I used to
Or
go.
just to keep
No,
tone.
when I was in my 30s, I used to go to the gym, and I think I was even skinnier. So, and I think I was proud of myself at the time. But at this moment, I'm 65. I am a little underweight on purpose, and I'm very happy
Yeah,
because
you seem to have lost weight
I'm
compared to then.
happy because I have knee problems. I have now hip problems. I have back problems.
Oh,
So I should just maintain my weight, and
yeah.
there's nothing to prove. Meaning, at 65,
Yeah, no need
You
for
don't-
added risks or
at 65, you don't know how long you have. So might as well just have healthy lifestyle. I don't. Yeah, I really try not to eat too much. So that's I mean, it's a conscious effort.
just
Conscious
a
effort.
good balance, right?
Yep.
Stay in
Good,
shape.
but I love food. By the way, I like food. I like coffee. I like wine. I like many things, and I am able to distinguish a lot of flavors. So I love those. I love flavors.
Okay.
Many different flavors.
Anything important you would like to bring up, since this is also somewhat of a platform where you can speak on issues that are relevant or important to you?
Well, I've seen 40 years of Philippine history,
Mm.
and it's really an upward path. Despite of people complaining about this or that, no, the Philippines in the 80s and the Philippines now, it's two different worlds. No? So much progress, so much economic
Yeah.
development.
But we're still considered third world now.
We came from very far, of course.
When do you think we'll reach that level?
Well, according to Dr. Villegas,
First world
I think
levels.
Dr. Villegas, 2050, we will be the 16th economy in the world. That's what he said. So 25 more years, and then we'll be quite developed.
25. Still a long time.
Well, but I mean, people can travel now. The flights are so much cheaper now, isn't it? You buy on a discount.
Yeah, there are
I mean,
many
even
promo fares.
even hotels.
Yeah, a lot of 3-star. It's accessible.
We have
budget type
a
hotels.
lot of options.
More choices now.
The Philippines has become very, very livable.
Very dynamic
and
now.
That's why I don't really understand people who want to go abroad. I mean, I have many friends, alumni and not alumni, who are in their 30s, who just migrate to Canada, migrate to Australia. The US is difficult nowadays, no? But so I rather live here. I rather live here and do professionally as best as you can. I see that. I mean, it's when I came in the 80s, there were very few restaurants. There were some restaurants, but now there are thousands and thousands of restaurants in Metro Manila. Thousands.
Yeah, I have many favorites actually. I've been going around since I'm a foodie.
Yeah, so thousands. I mean, the country. I mean, the malls and the brands that we have, and the highways. I mean, I came last. I was telling you I came from Tagaytay last Sunday, and Calax. Wow, and not just Calax, but the Cavite governor is doing transversal roads all over Cavite. So it just took me from Tagaytay Mendes. It took me an hour and 15 minutes to be in Pasig. No? You go to Tiplex, you go to Baguio in 4 hours, no, even less. No? It's and I see the institutions are in place. There is corruption, but where there is no corruption, tell me. So the institutions are good. We have political institutions, administrative institutions, we have juridical institutions, we have a good education system, we have infrastructure, we have many things. No? So I've seen it, and it will just get better and better. No? So we have, despite the corruption, many politicians are very good. I mean, they do very good things. So yeah, we have to be grateful. No, that's a historian's view of the Philippine history. It's very positive. I'm not saying that there are no shadows. Of course, there are always shadows. Unfortunately, but I mean, you can look at the shadows or you can look at the lights. If you remember our art classes, so the paintings, you have to look at both, no?
Yeah.
And if there is no light, you cannot see anything, no? So the light is crucial. So let's look at the light, no? So not only at the shadows, no, that are here and there, no, but the light that brings out the picture, no?
What about movies or books? Anything you've been into lately? So many series these days.
I don't like series.
Or movies, or new books, or maybe old books that you come across.
I have very
biographies
poor
or
I have very
philosophical
poor
books.
memory. Very poor memory. Unless I don't remember things that are not needed. I don't like TV series for one reason. I think they are just addicting artificially.
Time consuming.
No, artificially. No. Is that there is a formula? The formula is, there's of course a whole story, but then the ones making the series, they orchestrate it so that every episode ends on something that leads you to the next.
It's very enticing.
Yes,
like you
engaging,
can't wait for the next episode.
So,
Keeps you wanting more.
I don't like that, especially because I think
Keeps you curious.
I watch one series.
But there are some really good ones that are historical, like The Crown. It's about the monarchy.
Yeah. There are good ones. I just don't have the time either.
Yeah.
So
some are pretty good.
Some are good.
Script, good cinematography, everything. The acting.
Definitely. Yeah, I like movies, but if they come to me, meaning that some friends say, "Okay, why did you watch this?" and I don't really look too much into it.
Not like Filipino movies, like General Luna. That was quite good. And
I like it. Yeah,
covered
I like it.
Antonio Luna.
Very good one. Yeah, I like it. Baler was also good. So, these are good movies. I enjoy movies. I like movies about human realities. No, we call this the human interest. Like the latest one we watched is Thelma. It's an 80-year-old lady who is scammed, and then she goes after the scammers. It's a nice story in the US.
Some are quite interesting, especially if it's based on real issues, human struggles. So
I like also stories about food. No, like what was the famous? There was one which was a French movie. The French have very good movies about food. No, like I think it was the story of a chef. The chef is called. It's a nice story. It's a nice story about an apprentice that becomes a good chef eventually. But anyway, it's very. I love human interest. I love those.
Or anything with character development that really entices.
Once in a while, I also like some Marvel, etc. With a little more content. No, like what is it? Superwoman. What is the one?
Superhero film? DC or Marvel?
Yeah,
Wonder
some of those which are a little more content. No.
Yeah, more depth, more substance that we can apply in our lives.
I like. I don't really have too much time. I prefer to sleep than to watch movies, unless I have the leisure of time. My week is pretty busy in general with work and meeting people. So
yes. So of course, time management.
Yeah. In terms of books, yeah, because of my age. So I was telling you, I read a book about retirement, and then I also read about or some of these come from podcasts. So I hear a fellow in a podcast, and I want get interested. So I read a book also about money. So I just don't recall the author, sorry, but he was about compound interest and about how to just save and make invest your money and make it grow through the years. Live a very sober life. No, don't live
It's
beyond the
good.
means.
Anything
Those are
on
self help.
personal growth, self help.
Then I also read. I'm reading. A book also about the history of Vietnam because I was in Vietnam and I find the history of Vietnam fascinating. I also read before the history of Indonesia, fascinating, amazing histories. Because I like, as you know, I like history. I like reality. No, when I see reality, it's like the movies. No, you see a movie which is based on reality
Yes,
or something that could be real. No,
yeah,
that
relatable.
that's interests me a
That
lot.
could really happen in life. So
But most importantly, I like to be with people. So I think
face to face.
nothing like enjoying conversation like we are having now.
Yeah,
A conversation about people with people. Their lives are so much interesting than what you see in movies.
yeah,
You know?
of
Even
course.
though they are not that famous or nothing really so extraordinary, they are real lives. They are real lives, and you know, I really love my projects of my students' projects because they themselves learn so much about their own families. Like interviewing their grandparents about the Second World War and or
Yeah.
Marcos period, or
Yeah.
maybe the birth of a family business. Wow, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. It's just enjoyable.
Okay.
It's enjoyable.
With the Philippines, you think we have the right political systems in place? You think it's because some talk about federalism, thinks that might be a good idea. Given many subcultures, of course, I'm from Cebu. There's Bisaya, then a lot of there's also a different subculture in Mindanao. You think federalism is a good idea for Philippines, or how else can we
Based on my
progress
Spanish
as a nation?
experience, I think I would this to call this
Because Philippines
this
is
way.
very diversified, right?
Correct.
It's very rich and a lot of resources, a lot of interesting subcultures, as I say, in the different islands around the Philippines, because we have 7,000 plus, right?
Yes, that's something that at this very moment I'm also sort of expanding my views on this. I'm reading because for this conference in Iligan, I'm reading Jesuits' report of Mindanao and Jolo in the 1600s. It's just giving me such a different perspective of Philippine history. I really agree with you 100%. The Philippines is not Luzon or it's not Metro Manila.
Yeah, it's
we
very diversified.
But I just see that I think it was Governor Germilando Mandanas that authored that famous bill in Congress that gave so much money to the local governments. I think that is being a big help because now the local governments can do all their developments, infrastructure developments, educational developments. I've been many times in Catanduanes. It's a small island in Bicol, and they have for many years already. They have a very good. They have I don't know if it's good, but they have a state university, and at this present, I was just there in Holy Week. They have 15,000 students. That's and this is replicated in so many other provinces. No, so I think we have. I was telling you we have the institutions. I'm a little worried about over bureaucracy. In Spain, every community has Congress. It's just a waste of money. You don't need to have 20 congresses for a nation.
Yeah.
Just keep one and make sure that the local governments are working well and they are featured with the communities, of course. No, they are doing the right projects for everyone, not just a few, but everyone. No, there could be ways to improve it. I just don't know. Something I want to tell you is talking about politics in the Philippines is wasting your time. sorry to say, there are so many theories about this. I think the reality surpasses all those theories. No? I don't think our democracy is very unique.
Mm.
The Philippine democracy is very unique. It has many levels, from the barangay level to the national level. I don't know. I find it enriching. I find it complicated. I find it that there are many political scientists trying to explain it. Great. No?
Mm.
I don't dare to talk about it anymore. I just see the good things that happen,
Yeah.
and with that, I'm happy. I don't even dare to say it's better parliamentary or it's better federal. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Mm.
As long as things work, I would not touch too much,
Yeah.
personally.
As long as it's working and there's progress, there's growth, I think that's good. And hopefully lessen the red tape, all these inefficiencies, then we're headed in the right path.
As you must have experienced, now it takes very little to renew your license.
Because I prefer like a simplistic, common sense approach that's efficient, swift. Then I think that's good without all the unnecessary redundance and complicating of things when there are simpler solutions. So I would really opt for simple, common sense approaches.
I would one of my I would not say, I don't know how to say it without sounding too negative, but one of my I don't even a pet peeve is worse than that. It's how Metro Manila has grown too much, and how we are wasting so much time in transportation and the quality of life.
Yeah, the time in the traffic jams really eats up a lot.
There's something very different in Europe, which is that the distance between where you live and where you work is never that long. So I don't know. There could be if there could be a way for the government, for the Congress, etc., to create to do something so that enforce that companies should provide. Living facilities to people. It doesn't make Metro Manila doesn't make sense. Just
I think it's very fast paced. It's very busy, but we're also eating up so much time. Going to work, you eat up 2 hours. Going back home, 2 hours, or worse in some cases, 3 plus 3.
That's already how you say
very hectic schedules.
No, and also the quality of life.
Fast food.
Do you imagine 2 hours traveling? What are you going to start preparing food? No way. Cleaning the house? No way. You don't have energy anymore. It's just. I think if the government would try. I don't know. Indonesia is really very radical. No, Indonesia, they are transferring the capital to another island, isn't it? So the capital. But I don't think that's too much. But that seems too much. But the idea of how to promote, which is happening, but even more to promote the provincial capitals into better, transfer things there so that there is more economic growth spread out more. No? But I don't think it's possible, and I don't have a solution. It would be ideal if we have more cities which have more economic development, and not everybody has to keep on coming
to drive far
all the time, and even to facilitate all the government bureaucracy that is needed for the whole country to put it, to spread it out, so that there is no need for everyone to
really go
to come to even the Aboitiz. The Aboitiz, they have their headquarters here already. It's not anymore in Cebu.
We can develop other areas, so everything can be set. So there's no need to really go so much distance. Travel so much distance.
Imagine how much.
And in that aspect, other parts are better developed. It's not congested. All here.
and also the idea of quality of life. I'm very worried about that quality of life. As I said, your work and your house should be not too far. Anything above 30 minutes, it's already bad. I'm dreaming. I'm not saying that I don't have any solution of how to do it. I'm just dreaming. But if any dream could happen that would make me happy because of I would see how the lives of people will improve. Would be that, no? Like I say, okay, like Ayala, he has headquarters not only in Makati, but they have headquarters in Quezon City. They have headquarters. In a way, no, in other places. So not everybody has to go there every day. No, the same with SM or the same with whoever. No, alcohol.
Yeah.
So in that way, things would be so. And now with the pandemic, remember this work from anywhere, the working
Work from home.
space, the working space.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Yeah, it's
So
manageable. Ever since the
it's
pandemic, as I said, it was able to
Yeah.
speed up certain things that were able to work more efficiently and productively.
but
So, which is good.
it's but I think there has to be really from the top also, no, with determination to see, okay, how we do improve the lives of people, and then even the housing, no. How can we? There's so much empty space in the Philippines, right? But sometimes the houses in Metro Manila are so small, like studio, 2 bedroom, etc. Very, very small.
Yeah.
So
I agree on you with quality of life. That's a very important matter that must be addressed. Yeah, but
you were in Madrid, or even Ho Chi Minh, parks here and there. There are many parks in the city. It's not just here. We have hardly any parks. Huh? Of course, you have Luneta, and then you have Wild something, no, and there in Quezon City. There are few, but Madrid, so many more parks, little parks. No? Just behind my house, my mother's house, there's a nice little park there with a lot of bars, people taking some tapas and some wine. So good.
Speaking of the pandemic, how did you cope during those difficult times?
No, I was very lucky because I live in.
Where did you stay during the ECQ? Remember the lockdown? So you were just at home reading, or
No,
or
I was
studying?
the thing with I was staying in residences which were quite big, so I really had no much problem. Of course, during the super lockdown, I think I just went to the grocery store once a week, and that's it. No, it only lasted for 2 months. The lockdown, I think.
You were here throughout
Yes, I was here
throughout the different variants, the
Yes,
Delta, the Omicron.
yes. I have many friends who died. Not many, but I have several friends who died, and I feel very bad for them. But that's how it happened. Many friends who also got very sick. Thank God they
Did you
recovered.
ever catch COVID?
Surprisingly, no. I
No.
don't. Did you?
There was one time I tested positive, but it was just a coincidence because I
Okay.
needed to submit the PCR, but I didn't have symptoms.
Okay.
But
Good.
it turned out positive. I wasn't feeling anything. I don't know if that was false positive or I had it, but I just had good immunity. I'm not sure anymore.
No, I was just lucky. My houses were quite big, so there were also little place where you can do a little exercise. And once the lockdown ceased, it was not very difficult to
To
have a
go
good
around.
reason to go out. Just walk around a little, no?
Mhm.
So, and then soon after, I had, because of my NGO work, I had to travel. So I remember going to Mactan Airport, and our flight was the only flight at that time.
That was the time with the restrictions.
Yes, plenty of
a lot
restrictions.
of had to wear masks,
the
the
mask, the
shield.
shield, and then
all
you
of
need
that.
all these permits. You cannot board. You don't have those permits. Very interesting. But yeah, I remember. Imagine Bactan is so crowded now. There was nobody in the airport except our flight. And then the next flight would come. I don't know when. Sometime later, no. So that must be 2021, maybe. So I was lucky. I cannot. And we could also, once they allowed biking, so I would also bike, in Quezon City where I was staying at that time. So my pandemic was pretty I would say bearable. In fact, sometimes even good.
Any profound realizations or anything? Because that was unprecedented.
Oh,
The
yeah.
last worldwide pandemic was the 1918
Oh, yeah.
Spanish
I
flu, right?
mean, yeah. Just how little it takes to really, disrupt mankind. That's impossible. That is a huge realization.
It was sort of a wake-up call in some respects.
If you're a believer, of course, it just makes you also think that, wow, God can change things in no time.
Anything can be taken away. Things could change like that.
Yeah.
You could have all these plans ahead. Then suddenly,
That's
an act of God or
Correct.
some
Correct.
crazy calamity
For
occurs
sure.
and
For sure.
all your plans are diverted or put on hold.
Yeah. So it doesn't take really that much. No, just one virus that goes
Yeah,
berserk, and we don't know how to treat it. So, but there might be so many other things that can happen. No?
yeah, yeah.
I think it was a great lesson for all of us, mankind,
Yeah,
and
not
also
to be
how
too sure of
and
ourselves. I
how
think.
dependent we are from one another.
Yes, we need each other because I think that
Because
really brought out
it
the
just came from one
resilience.
nation and spread to all the nations.
Yeah, I think it
So
really brought out resilience and
mm,
that solidarity among
solidarity, yes,
people, helping each other, lending a helping hand, finding solutions to
yes,
save a person. Well, the medical community, also some really sacrificed a lot, put
a
their
lot of
lives on the
doctors died.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
many doctors died. So yeah, it's great lessons, plenty of lessons. I mean, I don't remember too many. I mean now, but and even just the kindness of people, no, how
mm,
to help other people who are like, I mean, spontaneous, really
yeah, acts of
manifestations of
kindness,
kindness, no,
generosity.
with the doctors, with the all these medical, no, medical association. I mean,
Mm,
professions, just unbelievable, no, how people help each other, no. So yeah, in the end, it's positive. I would say it's positive.
yeah. Any message you would want to impart to alumni or other students who might come across this video,
Okay.
or any advice you would want to give
Uh,
up and coming people in their careers who are looking for direction,
yeah,
meaning?
that's a good question. Yes. I when some young people come, and not so young, in general, asking me for my
Yeah,
advice.
mentorship. I
Yes,
remember we had a mentoring program.
I would say my general rule is that in general, I think in life, that as humans we have to keep on learning, no, learning. It's our reason. Our reason cannot be passive, so we are always trying to how to do things, how to learn new things, and how to do things better. That's very much in my system. You know, when I see something that, I mean, if I can save time doing this or doing that, I will do it. No, I mean, if I can, like, let's say a Google form that facilitates things for many people, let's do it because it really is. It's a great advantage. No, I always think in those terms. So, and I think for a young person who is starting, not just starting, but I mean, growing his professional life, I would recommend stick to a job as long as you are learning in the
Growth,
job.
as long as there's
As
growth
there is growth.
and some fulfillment.
More than fulfillment is learning. I mean, in a way, you are learning something that makes you better, professional. So as long as there is that, stick to it. If you get already like in a rut and nothing new comes out, move. Look for something better so that you are always growing, always growing. No? That's really my advice to anyone, even myself. I'm always learning. That's why tomorrow I will go to this learning system workshop because I want to know about these quizzes, no, in Canvas. I'm resist to be passive about things. That's the first thing. The other thing that I see is also that we have to trust people. I mean, especially people in management. I believe you have to have faith in people as long as you know them. Never trust if you don't know people. Meaning scammers. I'm very afraid of scammers. No, so if somebody comes with offering so much, etc.,
too good to be true. So
yeah, forget
you
that.
have to
But
smell
if you know the
bullshit.
people, no, if you know the people, especially if these your employees, no, you know them well, you have been seeing them how they work. We have to trust them because there's so much potential in people. No? That's a second advice I would always give. You know, trust people and give them responsibilities so they will prove themselves. No? But third thing I also recommend is if we are in management, support people. Meaning you have to train. It's very unfair for managers to give big responsibilities without training. So you have to train. You have to really train. I mean, train not in theory but in practice. No? And then, in a way, lead the way. So if it's about sales, or it's about operations, or it's about marketing, whatever, be there to see how they grow. No, be there. So don't just drop them and okay, it's on your own. No, no, no. The managers have to be very, very helpful. No? I would say that. I also see now the pandemic, especially pandemic, has made me realize, but even before, no, because I have many friends who work in multinationals. I mean, really very high executives, and I see how much difference it makes to collaborate between departments, between units of things. Collaboration. If you get things from different departments, you can grow much more and learn so much more than you do it by yourself. So I think something that universities, companies, government have to always, okay, let's work together. I mean, like for instance, okay, a marketing unit that will work with the operations, the ones manufacturing, or where the research company that is doing has come out with this new product. That really makes very important anywhere in the world. I mean, any job or any situation, no, collaboration between people from different areas or expertise, no, within the whatever institution is. And then the other thing, of course, is be very good humans. I mean, we are. I mean, I believe we are made by God at the image of God, and we have so much goodness. But as you said earlier, and I agree with you, there is also. I mean, we are also inclined to
Evil.
yeah, evil or yeah, not
bad
doing
things.
yes, bad things. So in general,
greed, whatever it may be.
Humanity is not perfect. So we have to know that. But at the same time, the idea is, you know, I was telling you before, this is really one of the greatest, I would say, fulfillments of anyone is to have many friends. Friends. People you can call and go together and talk and share. I think that's crucial, no? Humanity and friendship, no? And for sure, take care of your family. Take care of, God and your family, and then your friends. I would say that's the advice, no? God, family, friends, and then of course, we have discussed a lot earlier, no? But concern for humanity as a whole, and specifically those who are more who are less privileged,
the less fortunate.
So those have to be our concern. We cannot just be like, okay, sorry for them. No, we have to. If we can do something, let's do it. And a lot is being done. A lot is being done. I ask my students. We can finish with this if you want. But I ask my students every semester to do a little outreach. I ask them, okay, can you plan and implement with supervision little outreach to less fortunate. So we usually go to orphanages, no? Or facilities for children with cancer, etc. And it's just, you learn how many more people does things like that. So many groups and so many people who personal or as groups do things for the less fortunate, a lot. And also you also learn, of course, how difficult is the life of the less fortunate. So that grows, it helps grow your humanity, no? Which is so good. No? So,
yeah, I think giving back, right?
And if you're a believer, yeah, it also gives you, in a way, the satisfaction of doing what God wants. No?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would agree that it goes beyond ourselves. Of course, we have our agendas, growth, career, before we help others. But once we have that, we have the means or the capacity to do so, then I think making an impact to the broader community, to society, leaving your mark has a profound impact for sure in doing your role in this world before we pass on, because our time is very much limited.
Yes, it's
yeah, the time just flies by. Like I was just mentioning, I graduated 2011, and it's been what, 13 years? Yeah,
13 years.
So it just flew by like
Same
that.
here, I'm 65. So it's a life, it just goes by so fast.
Yeah.
No?
Okay, so anything you'd like to add?
I would say you can always contact me in the university. So I have,
Yeah.
I love to talk. I like to
Yes.
discuss things. Anyone who wants to talk to me, I'm there in the University of Asia and the Pacific. You can always look at the directory, Juan Mesquida,
Yeah.
and the email is there. So yeah, many topics to discuss
Yes.
about the world, about the Philippines,
Yeah.
about
Anything.
history,
Very, very diverse.
humanity,
Very broad.
so many topics.
Okay.
Many topics. And
Okay.
always
So
good coffee over good coffee.
yeah.
I love coffee.
Okay. Okay, so I thank you for your time today. Thank you for
Mm.
sharing your many insights on various issues. I enjoyed the conversation, and
Me too. I enjoy
I
it too.
look forward to seeing you more often.
The same
Maybe in the
here.
future, maybe we can do part two. Who knows? So maybe on a more specific topic, we could also
Yeah,
delve
we can.
into that. Something more focused. We'll see. So thank you for your time today.
You're
It
welcome.
was
You're
a
welcome.
pleasure.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.